Hey, how you doing? I am back. It is the one and only nerdy entrepreneur. This is Lauren here, and just to put this out there, just thank you for all the supporters who've been around. We're going to be putting up more videos here, and in this video, we're going to talk about B2B lead generation just a little bit, right? Because some of you are going to be starting businesses, or you have businesses, and your target are other businesses, right? And that could be very lucrative. It could be a nice way to maybe get out of your full-time job or to, expand what other endeavors you're doing currently, you know, to maybe you want a bigger company. Maybe you're a one person shop and you want to be a multiple person shop where you can kind of take yourself out of the driver's seat, which for some people, that's just what they want to do. But for some of you, you don't mind being in the driver's seat and you don't want to have to deal with too many people. In order to do that, you need to make sure you're making enough money that you can do the things you want to do and not necessarily have to have employees in, whatever your business is. And that's all well and cool, right? But in order to do that, you have to get clients. And once again, this is for the B2B folks. For the folks who are not doing B2B, you're doing B2C, meaning you're doing regular customers. I'll probably have other videos for you on the channel, so just stay tuned. This is for folks who serve other businesses. So there are many ways to lead gen to get potential clients. Okay, there are many ways you can do it. And I'm going to mention some things, and some things you're not going to want to do, like it's not comfortable for you, and you want to do something different in order to get clients, and that's perfectly okay. This is not a video telling you that you have to do all the things that I mentioned. This is just some of the ways you can actually lead gen if you're going after B2B clients. Now, one way to do it is to do cold email. I use cold email myself, and it can be a wonderful way to start getting those conversations to, turn around and start building your business through cold email. But the cons of cold email is that it could take a while. You have to be very clear in your offer. It might, in the way that you do it, might require you to get on the phone, and most likely it will require you to get on the phone sometimes. And you just got to be comfortable enough to do that. And also it could take a little while to tweak, the sequence of emails being sent out. You have to constantly be aware of your domains getting shut down, have to buy a bunch of domains. So there is a upfront investment if you're going to do mass cold email. I do a lot of mass cold email, so I have to invest in that engine to keep working. And you always have to kind of tweak what's going on and understand that, it is going to take a lot longer than, something else I'm about to mention. But cold email can be great for those of you maybe who are a little bit more introverted and, you're not comfortable doing other things like DMing people directly or, picking up the phone directly with people who don't know you and you don't know them. So cold email could be a great way. A lot of agencies and a lot of different companies use cold email. Okay. So cold email is one. That's one thing that, you can do. Just understand this money investment, got to be real clear on your offer. And it's going to take a little bit of time to get that ramped up and working the way that you want. So that's one, cold email. Another thing you can do, this is tried and true, and that is cold calling. Now, I have cold called before. I still do some cold calling, and I'm a high level introvert. I don't particularly would care to cold call, but I do it. So I do cold call. I am trained in cold calling. I invest in programs to make sure my mind is right and to tweak the technique in which I cold call, but it's something that you can do too. Okay. Now I know the cold calling one scares a lot of people because, now I have been on some horrible cold calls, like me doing them and people yelling at me and stuff like that. That has happened. So I'm not saying that they ain't gonna happen to you, especially if you're calling certain businesses in certain regions, so you could cold call too. And if you want a suggestion on a program that can teach you how to cold call properly, just put a comment below this video and I'll recommend you to one that I am in and that's helped immensely. And I was cold calling before that program, but that's helped me be better at that. But cold calling, most businesses use cold calling. They hire teams of people called SDRs or BDRs, right? And they cold call. So cold calling is probably one of the fastest ways to actually grow your business. Now, maybe you want to hire out for that, which you can, meaning you have to manage someone and give them, the right script and everything, or you can do it yourself. Honestly, I think if you can do some of it yourself, especially if you're trying to be a solo operator in what you're doing, then it's something that, and you're low on cash, like you don't have thousands of dollars to hire someone to do it and go through that process, and you want to get business pretty quick, cold calling is a way to go. I have resources if you wanted to try, to learn. That's great. And there's some videos around on YouTube if you want to see some people do it, even though there's a lot of bad videos teaching cold calling, in my opinion. You could do so too, but that's probably one of the fastest ways you can grow businesses. People that a lot of entrepreneurs respect have used cold calling to get business. Okay, so it's still probably the tried and true way of getting business very quickly. So cold calling. The pros, you get business pretty fast. The cons, you have to cold call, right? So just for those of you thinking about that, you're like, okay, I'll do it. Listen, if you're just starting out, you just need a decent script. Be clear on what you are going to be talking about in this cold call, because the goal of a cold call is just to get an appointment. It's not to sell the thing that your company does that you do. It's literally just to get the appointment so that you can have that dedicated time to explain what you do. Okay. So if you're going to cold call, remember to get an appointment, not that you are pitching someone over the phone about your product or service. Okay. So pros that you get on the phone. So for some of you, it will be pros because some of you like to talk to people and you don't mind getting hung up on sometimes. But the cons is that you have to get on the phone. You might get yelled at once or twice, depending on how many cold calls you're doing. But it's pros, fastest way to grow your business. So that's number 2. Number 3, you can cold DM people, right? So you can do this manually. There are some automated bots out there and stuff that will help you do it. They cost various amounts of money. And, you have to hook them up, and there's a danger that your accounts will get shut down depending on where they are DMing. So whether it's on Twitter or X, or whether it's on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, wherever you're DMing at, right? There's a potential side effect of your account might get banned if you do it too much, right? So there are these different platforms have limits on a day on how many individual DMs you can send. But there are also bot programs that will allow you to mass DM, but you have to read up a little bit more. Everyone's a little different, and protect your account so that you continue doing your regular things as well. So the pros of that is that you can go one to many very quickly, or if you're taking the side that you're not going to use a bot, it's not as harsh as doing a cold call. You could just pick your accounts that you think might be a good prospect, and you send them a message. You have to be very clear in your message, and you might have to go a little bit around the ways, like, trying to sell people directly in DM and you have no relationship with them is most likely not going to work. You're still going to have to do the, the, hey, I like your stuff. It's really good. This was really relational. This video really did X, and then go from that to, hey, do you have this problem? I saw this. What do you think? So it could be a good path to getting clients, but it is also a long path like cold email, a longer path there. All right. So, that's that if you want to do different cold DMs on different platforms, something that you can do. Another thing you can do, which I do often, is actually leave my house and go to networking events, go into business events, and not only network events, going to conferences. Now, for some of you, this might be a little cost prohibitive. So usually if you are going to do this, I say go to your local events first. That's a good thing. Start off going to local events, getting to know people in your area that are, doing the things that maybe you want to do or interested in helping with. For example, if you have a marketing service that is local, right, and you're dealing with people who are going to be around in your nearby communities or your community, and whatever service specifically you're going to be offering, maybe your thing is going to be concentrated on Instagram, right? Help them grow their Instagram presence. Help use Instagram to leverage people, going to their store, their bakery, whatever it is, if that's what your specialty is going to be. Going out and letting people see that you are a live person, that you're local, really does help you get business. A lot of local businesses would prefer to work with a company that is local to them, where there's a name and a face, because there's a lot of companies that get hit up on who, they're from wherever they are and they have no accountability. So people tend to feel a little bit more comfortable when they know that you are a real person out there. So oftentimes, when I have my local clients, or I'm in a market I'm trying to take over a bit, I try to make my face known in that market, that, hey, I am local here. I do X, Y, and Z. So yeah, I am a real person, and I do care about, the people that I work with. So going to events, supporting the event holders is something that you could do. Now, some of you are not going to want to go and meet people because you're extremely afraid of people, which is going to be difficult when you are trying to be in a business that is in the business of service. Okay, so most likely when you're doing B2B, most of you are doing some type of service. Now, there are product folks here where maybe you're selling a particular product. People still like to do business with people. The whole point is proving to people that you exist, that you're not this gigantic corporation who doesn't give a damn whether or not they perform the service or not. And I'm assuming most of you actually want to do what you say you're going to do for folks, So remember, business to business is still people to people. So that's one thing you could do. Go out there, your community, or go to conferences in other places. And, you can start talking to people, engaging with different companies, seeing what their problems are, and offering to have a conversation potentially about your service. I've done that many times. I still continue to do it. You get better at it as you concentrate on what you want to get better on. And I'll probably have more videos on that. But that's a great way of building relationships and getting some good clients there. So that, I believe, is number 4, going out there, going to networking events, going to conferences. And now we're going to go to number 5. And then I think we'll pause at number 5. So number 5 is something that I need to get better at, to be honest with you, because I don't always do it. And that literally, for my mentors, have told me should be number 1, but it's number 5 here. And that is asking your friends, associates, and others close to you if they can refer you or know someone who could use your help in what you're doing. Now, in B2B, which I service mostly B2B in most of my businesses, with the exception of like 2, that can be a game changer in terms of lead gen for you. And that is basically, they call it going to your familiar market. Because if you help, like one of my services is I help local service businesses get more jobs using Facebook and SEO. Okay. And if I know people, like for instance, I was having a conversation with one of my good friends, and he's like, oh yeah, my mechanic needs this thing. And I was like, oh, they do? And they explained the situation. I was like, oh, okay, well, they can do that. And so now we're in the early talk stages of doing some work for them. This is someone I would not have gotten if it wasn't for me having a conversation, reaching out to your familiar list. Hey, I do this. Do you know anybody? And they do know somebody, someone who they're paying and who they have a relationship with. So that's potentially going to turn into a paying customer for me in the future. So I don't do that as well as I should, So, I mention these things. I'm not perfect at, all of these things. So I don't go out enough and say, hey, I do this. Does anyone know another business owner, friend, family member who could use this, right? And this is something that some people just start their businesses out doing that. So even if you're serving another business and you're B2B, ask your friends, ask your family, ask people who you know from a previous job or a current job, ask people who you're associated with. Hey, I do this, or do anyone who needs help with this? And sometimes you'll get people, it puts the antennas up of people who really are for you and support you because they want to see you do well. So they will turn around and look around for you. So now you got another set of eyes out there. And sometimes people are like, oh yeah, I know somebody, or I need help, right? So you get a lot of that. I'm not as good as that because I'm not diligent about asking people and things, but that's something that we can all use. It's a great way to get business and actually probably better clients than you would in some of the colder means, right? So those are the 5 things that I recommend if you're in the B2B services. You're serving another business and you're trying to generate leads for yourself, right? If you go through those 5 things, pick 1 or 2, give it a go. Remember, most of those things, everything has a pro and a con to it. Some things are going to take longer to implement than others. Other things are going to be faster, but require you to take a few bumps and bruises. And whether you decide you want to invest in, hey, I want to learn this thing in particular, or you want to spend time on YouTube searching a bunch of videos, and hopefully the channels you come across who are talking about one specific aspect of this, whether it's cold email or whether, it's cold calling, that they are telling the truth and giving you the whole view of things and that you're going to do it, is one thing. Now, there is a 6. Now I want to stop at 5, but 6, I think I will save for another video because it's something that does require some time investment and everything else. So maybe I'll talk about that much later, but these 5, you got more than enough if you're in the B2B side. So go out there, pick one of the things I said. If you have questions, dump them down in the comments. Let me know what your questions are. So maybe I need to make another video mentioning you and answering your question. Happy to do that, but you gotta, let me know. Now, if you think this video was helpful, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. That helps us all grow this channel so I can keep doing this, while I'm out there running a business. Until next time, this is the Nerdy Entrepreneur. Good luck on your journey. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel.